this episode of the Engaging Marketeer, I wanted to talk about something that personally I think is quite boring. But I know, bear with me. But every time I've spoken about this on other podcasts I've done, because I've guested on quite a few podcasts now, and I've mentioned this in particular, everyone I've spoken to has been quite excited about it. It's something that I think is really useful for if you run an agency, if you run any business where you want to scale up, where you have other people in your business that you want to be able to do the skills that you have. So an agency, for example, is ideal for this. And I spoke about this on a podcast a few weeks ago, and the guy I was talking with, the host, was very, very excited about it because he'd never heard of it. And it's a really good technique, a really good skill to implement within your business that will make your business more scalable, will make your business more robust, and it will eventually make your business more saleable and more valuable. So I'm going to share that one with you now. Now, before I do that, I do have a slight confession to make. This wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea. I would love to take credit for this, but it wasn't my idea. I didn't create it, and I didn't even introduce it into Engage Web. That was Leanne. She did that, not me. So while I am taking the credit now by telling you about it on this podcast, it's not my idea, so please don't congratulate me for it, unless you really want to. And what this is essentially is called a skills matrix. A skills matrix. Now, it sounds simple when I explain it, but as I said, every time I've told somebody else about it, they've never heard of it. So I thought I'd better do a podcast on it just to make sure that anyone listening to this who's interested in scaling up a business, particularly an agency, is aware of what a skills matrix is, how you can use it, what it can do, and why it's important for your business. So say, for example, you've got a member of staff who does a particular task within your business and they are unavoidably taken ill. Maybe they've come down with COVID. Maybe they've got the flu, whatever it may be. And they phone in that morning or email in that morning and say, I can't be in work today. I'm going to be off for a few days because I'm really, really under the weather. If they're the only person that knows how to do a particular task, you might be in trouble because you're unable to do that task and nobody else in the office is able to cover that task. Or say, for example, you've got a member of staff that goes off on maternity leave or paternity leave, or goes on holiday, or you've got two people who both know how to do a particular task and they both book holidays at the same time, and you realise, oh bugger, we can't do this thing because they're the only two people who know how to do it. Those are the sort of problems that it fixes. But it also does a hell of a lot more than that. So what is a skills matrix? Essentially, it could be as simple as a spreadsheet. Who doesn't love a spreadsheet? A spreadsheet which has, let's say, down the left-hand side of the spreadsheet, in the rows, it has the names of all your team members, all of your staff, all of your employees, everybody that works with you. And then across the top, it has all of the different tasks that can be done within your business. And these are really broken down. So if you're a digital marketing agency, for example, you might have setting up a client's blog. You might have designing a website. You might have doing quality assurance on a website. You might have setting up a hosting account for a website. You might have creating email addresses for clients. You might have scheduling tweets for a client on Twitter, scheduling a Facebook post, creating graphics, creating banners, creating videos, creating animations. Every single task that you do as an agency would go across the top. Or you could flip it round the other way and have the tasks down the left and the names of the people across the top. It's up to you. And then with the people who are in your business have the ability to do those tasks, you would put an X in the row so that it corresponds with it. So you can see at a glance how many of your people can do which tasks. Now, it sounds really simple. You think, well, yeah, that's obvious. Why is that going to be so useful to me? Why is that going to matter? Because if you've got a skills matrix, you're then able to look at, right, this person wants to book a holiday. Let's just see what skills do they have in the skills matrix. They do this particular task. The only other person in the business that does this particular task is this person. They are also away on holiday at the same time. Therefore, you cannot have a holiday together because you are leaving us unable to do this particular thing that only the two of you can do. That's one thing that you could do. Or you could also say to this person, right, you want to book this holiday in 3 months' time. Unfortunately, the only other person that can do this is John. John is off that week as well. So if between the two of you, you train up another member of staff so that they can do this task as well, and we can update their skills matrix, then you would be able to have that holiday. Thus allowing you to give your team the holidays they want without you suffering as a business. But then it's got another task as well. It's got another potential as well. Let's say you've got a member of staff that comes to you and says that they really want a pay rise. They really feel they deserve and have earned a pay rise. That one, you can use the skills matrix to demonstrate this. It's like, well, let's have a look at where you are compared to the other person or other people within the business that do the same thing that you do. Not looking at salary, of course, not looking at wages, because you don't share that kind of information, I would imagine. I mean, you might do, it's up to you. But you'd look at the skills matrix and see, all right, well, this person does a similar job to you. They're able to do this and this and this and this and this and this. You're able only to do this, this and this. Therefore, if you're thinking you want to have a pay review, if you want to progress within the business, then you need to be able to train up on this, 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 and this. And it's quite clear what they need to do because the skills matrix tells you about it. So as I say, whenever I've explained this, it's as though it's been a complete revelation to people. But for me, it seems quite obvious because, well, it was presented to our business by somebody within the business and said, this is what we should be doing, this is how we can make sure all of the team are up to the skills that we want them to have, and nobody is lacking. So I didn't really have to come up with this myself. So I kind of take it for granted and realise now when I speak to other people that not everybody is aware of it. So if you are aware of it, I would love to know how you've been using a skills matrix such as this, how it's improved your business or how it's made things easier for you, how it's made things better for your team, your staff. I'd love to know about that if you could give me some feedback on that. You can drop me a message through the Engaging Marketeer website if you like, or you can leave me a comment on, say, the YouTube video, which this is going out on if you're watching me on YouTube now. Love to know if you've used a skills matrix before, what you've thought about it, what sort of experiences you've had with it, and how it's improved or benefited your business in any way. If you've never used a skills matrix before and you've never heard of such a thing, and you're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing, you must be a genius to have come up with this, Darren. I didn't come up with it. It wasn't me. I am not taking the credit for this. But if you want to credit me, that's cool. Go ahead with it. You're a genius to have come up with this, Darren. Then again, please let me know what you think about this, whether you're going to implement it within your business, whether you think, well, that's fantastic, I'm going to do that straight away, or if in fact you'd like to know more about a skills matrix and how you would actually create one, what sort of format it would take, what's the best way to introduce it to a business, then again, drop me a message through the Engaging Marketeer website. I'd be delighted to help you out with that. Drop me a message on YouTube or a comment on YouTube. That would be fantastic as well. And I'd just love to get some feedback from businesses who have either been using it or have never used it before and are considering doing so after listening to my inane ramblings. So I've been Darren. You've been listening to The Engaging Marketeer. If you could leave me a review, leave me a comment, leave me a 5-star rating on iTunes, for example, that would be fantastic. And I will catch you on the next podcast.